So let's start the things with a starter with a warm-up activity. Looking outside my window to warm up, read this essay, right? The topic of this essay is looking outside my window, right? Looking outside my window, God's bird, God boy, boy eats bird, bird I see rainbow outside. I'm happy because it is beautiful. I see children playing with the ball outside, all kinds of balls, like football, basketball, baseball, and volleyball. My mom and dad came into my room and sit beside me on my bed. They look outside the window too. My mom is sitting on my right and my dad is sitting on my left. They are happy that I am happy. Suddenly, some sparrows flew past our family dog, then jumped out of the window to catch some birds. Our dog is very active. He eats a lot. He is an active dog. He eats a lot. This is why he is active. However, he is not a very clever dog because he is mad. When he jumped out of the window to catch the birds, he forgot that our family lives on the 25th floor. Dog died inside. My mom is talking to me, but I continue looking at the window. She screams, but I still look outside the window. We are sad, but happy because the rainbow is still in the sky. This is an exciting day outside my window, right? You may find this warm up, the starter, as a descriptive narrative, right? You can see many things, many details that have been added up to this essay that describes it wonderfully, right? The sparrows, the dog, the sitting of the parents, right, left, right, the rainbow on the sky, etc. And at the same time, you can see, um, it has been, it is a fine example of a good language, and there are wonderful examples at the same time. And at the same time, you can see there are several parts of this essay, like introduction, or the opening paragraph, then the detailed body paragraphs, then the concluding paragraph that starts with my mom is talking to me, but I continue looking at the window, right? So from this we can have a little bit guess of the things, right? How an essay is, or what an essay is, what particular purpose it performs, and at the same time, what is the shape and form of an essay, right? What kind of words we select to write an essay, right? So we shall be studying all these things in detail in the upcoming thing slides. So let's direct into the slide that tells us about the difference between an essay and a paragraph. So the first of all, the first difference between an essay and a paragraph, right? A paragraph is a group of sentences, while an essay is a group of paragraphs. Second, it is relatively shorter than an essay, while an essay is longer than a paragraph. A paragraph may consist of or may have 90 words or 5 sentences, but an essay consists of 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, right? On the first phase, an essay and a paragraph consist of a topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence, while on the other hand, an essay consists of an introductory paragraph, then supporting paragraphs we call the body paragraphs, and then it has got a concluding paragraph, right? And the last point that deals here, well, a paragraph deals only one idea. A paragraph is a unit that deals one idea, while an essay is a combination of paragraphs, right? That whereupon each paragraph deals a particular idea. This was the difference between an essay and a paragraph. Let's define an essay. What is an essay, right? An essay is a short piece of composition. An essay is a short piece of composition that is neither fiction nor literature, nor that is neither fiction or at the same time it is not. When we say a short piece of composition, it means it is an attempt in writing that is a shorter one on a specific topic. And when we say that it is non-fiction, it refers or it means that an essay is not a piece of poetry nor a piece of prose, neither it is play, nor it is a novel, nor it is a short story, right? And at the same time, it is not something that has got imaginative prowess in it, right? It is non-imaginative, on contrary to Harry Potter. The way Harry Potter, so everything is imaginary, right? Essay isn't an imaginary thing. It is something real that is on the piece of paper. So, what is an essay? An essay is a short piece of composition on a specific topic that is neither fiction nor it is non-imaginative. Then, the purpose of an essay, right? The purpose of an essay depends very much on the writer, what particular purpose the writer wants to achieve, or what particular goal is there that the writer wants to achieve from this piece of writing. And it is determined by the first paragraph of the essay. First paragraph of the essay, right? For example, the writer wants to describe, or the writer wants to narrate some incident, or he wants to discuss some idea, or he wants to argue, or he wants to introduce some new information to you, or he wants to present the blend or the synthesis of his lifelong experience with the reader. So it all depends on the writer, what particular purpose that he wants to achieve from the piece of writing that is under discussion. Then the next thing is the phases of essay writing. Well, among the phases of essay writing, we have got planning, thinking, researching, writing, and editing, right? So, the how many phases are there? Well, there are several phases of essay writing. The first one is planning, then thinking, then researching, then writing, then editing, right? Let's have a bit detail of each. Planning. Planning stands for the preliminary phases of essay writing that ends on the selection upon the topic of the essay, where the writer decides or chooses the topic of essay on what topic he or she is interested to write his her essay, right? Then comes the second phase, which is thinking one. In this phase, the writer gathers initial ideas, he thinks, he rethinks, and he tries to generate as many ideas as he can. And we call this particular procedure of generating ideas from other ideas by thinking process or involving thinking is we call it brainstorming at the same time. When he has thought a lot, then starts the next phase, which is the researching phase, right? In the researching phase, the writer tries to gather as much as information he can that is directly related, relevant to the topic. And after that, he has gathered the information, he organizes the information, right? After he has organized every kind of information, then comes the next phase, which is the writing phase. In the writing phase, the writer writes, or he's done up with his write up, and we call this kind of write up as a rough draft, right? that he has put every amount of information on the piece of paper, keeping in view the rules of essay writing, like introduction, like body paragraph, like conclusion, etc. And then for each he has to justify the things. Then starts the next thing, and that is the final phase of essay writing, which we call editing phase. In the editing phase, the writer not only proofreads the thing, but at the same time he removes every kind of information which is not directly related to the topic, or which does not support the stance that he has taken for the essay. And at the same time, he removes all vague, mutilated things from the essay. Then, along with the proofreading, the editing phase also starts. In the editing phase, the writer tries to remove grammatical mistakes, mistakes of spellings, mistakes of punctuation, mistakes of sentence structure, etc. Then when he's done up with proofreading and editing, right, and he has furnished the references at the same time, he writes again, and his final draft is ready for the submission. Or after he has done editing and proofreading, his final draft is ready. He can rewrite it and submit to the teacher or concerned examiner. Right? Well, this was about the phases of essay writing. The next is forms of essay writing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my very dear students, there are two forms of essay writing: a formal form of essay writing and informal form of essay writing. Whereas the formal form of essay writing is concerned, the formal form of essay writing deals with the or it is marked with the objectivity. It is serious in its purpose. It has got dignity. It has got a logical organization and length of the essay, right? But most important, two things are very important for in case of an formal essay. One is the objective approach of the writer, and the second is the beauty of the language in a formal essay. Then comes the second thing, which is informal essay writing. In case of informal essay, right, informal essays are characterized for the personal elements, right, where the writer reveals the personal experiences. Then those may be individual, right, tastes or experiences, confidential manners or matters, etc. Right? That this may include humor. This may include some gossips or past experiences. But at the same time, the purpose of informal essays is to amuse the reader, right? And most second thing is that much sensory details are added to informal essay writing. Thirdly, essay all informal essays are subjective in their approach, where the writer allows his her personal feelings to jump into the piece of writing. Then we have got the next chunk, that is parts of an essay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are three parts of an essay: introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. How many parts are there? Well, there are three parts of an essay. Number one, introduction. Number two, body paragraphs. Number three, conclusion. Right? The introduction is the first part of the essay, right? The job of the introduction is to uh, introduce your write-up to the reader, first of all. Second, uh, it retains the interest of the reader to the topic, right? And it has got number one, the topic sentence itself. Number two, controlling idea. Number three, thesis statement of the essay, right? How many things are there? Topic sentence. After the topic sentence, we have got the controlling idea, and after the controlling idea, we have got the thesis statement, right? For example, let's take an example of my best friend. I have many friends, but Ali is my best friend. This is the title or the topic of the essay, right? He is honest and punctual, right? So, honesty and punctuality of your friends suggest that you are not going to describe everything about your friend. Rather, you will be focusing on only two aspects of his personality, that is punctuality and honesty. This is the controlling idea, and the thesis statement is the central thing, right, around which the entire thing revolves. Then we have got the body paragraphs. Body paragraphs are the building blocks of your essay. This is the building where your entire essay rests, right? Where your entire essay rests, and at the same time, uh, each body paragraph has got three parts. Each body paragraph has got three parts. Number one, an individual title sentence or topic sentence, then a detailed sentence. What is a detailed sentence? Detailed sentence is that sentence that has got examples, reasons, explanation, proof, evidences, right? Whatever you have to say or you have to prove your stance that you have taken for the essay, right? And then the third part that is there in the body paragraph, it is the concluding or the conclusion of the sentence or the concluding sentence, right? So how many parts are there? There are three parts in the body, each body paragraph, right? That is topic sentence, second detail sentence, and third concluding sentence. After the body paragraphs, we have got the conclusion of the essay, right? The conclusion is the last part of the essay, right? It has got two things, right? It has got two things. Number one, the summary of the above discussion that you have made in the form of body paragraph, and the restatement of the title or the topic of the essay, right? But a good conclusion always leaves a reader at a thought provoking moment, or it leaves uh, a reader by giving him something as a food for thought first. And a good conclusion always predicts some outcome. A good conclusion always predicts some outcome, right? And it leaves the reader to decide upon the things. So how many things are there in the conclusion of an essay? Well, there are two things in the conclusion of an essay. Number one, the summary of above discussion, and second, the restatement of the topic sentence. That means saying the topic sentence after you have rephrased it, or by not using the exact words of the title. So this was about the definition of the essay, right? Then do's and don'ts of essays, right? Phases of essay writing, forms of essay writing, then parts of an essay writing, right? Now I'm going to move on to the types of an essay writing. That is, well, there are several types of essay writing, like descriptive essays, narrative essays, expository essays, argumentative essays, persuasive essays, and reflective essays at the same time. So we shall be discussing the first one, which is a descriptive form of essay writing, which is descriptive form of essay writing. Wait a moment, please. So, can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, descriptive writing. What is descriptive writing? As you can see, the word descriptive is attached to writing, right? Writing is self a noun, while descriptive is an adjective. And if you have learned from the functional grammar, well, no, just adjectives only describes nouns and pronouns, right? So somewhere from this you can have the idea, well, a descriptive writing involves, or a descriptive writing can be about persons, places, right, things, or events, or it can be about the ideas, right? First, right? And at the same time, it is believed that descriptive writing is a most unique uh, type of writing that has got a power and appeal, and that appeal and power provokes all right, the senses of the reader, like sight, smell, sound, texture, and taste, right? And in other words, the writer brings everything, right, brings everything right on the piece of paper, that not only walks, that not only talks, that not only he has got feelings, that size, right, each and everything right on the piece of paper, right? So the writer does what? The writer portrays everything on the piece of paper with the help of word pictures. This is we call descriptive writing. And well, there are five elements of descriptive writing. How many elements are there? There are five elements of descriptive writing. Number one, dominant impression. Number one, dominant impression. What does it mean? The writer creates such an atmosphere or environment on the piece of paper. The creates the writer creates such an environment on the piece of paper, right, where the reader feels or finds himself, right? Or the writer creates such a wonderful environment on the piece of paper that word pictures are not only moving, they talk, they behave, they have got fragrance, they have got taste, they have got feelings, right? Or in other words, the writer makes mobile or concurrent pictures on the paper, right? This is what we call the creation of an environment, the creation of environment, right, on the piece of paper, right? We call it dominant impression. Its example is, for example, if you kept on watching, or if you had watched in your childhood a drama, an equala jinn, or some horror movie, or some emotional drama, right? There are several times it happened that you were frightened, and it was determined that when you slid gradually toward your sister or brother, or you hold onto the grip of the chair or the sofa very tight. These were the feelings that were on you people because of the environment at the same time, right? Or when you were watching an emotional drama and you started weeping, why it happened so? Because you are in the grip of the impression or the environment that the producer created through audio and through visual. So in case of descriptive writing, this impression is created with the help of words. So this is something which is very powerful, which is very unique, right? So read this description, right? Read this description. My family ate dinner at Merry Meat dinner every Friday night while I was a child. We huddled close in a large red booth as we scanned the familiar menu. The aroma of gravy over creamy mashed potatoes lingered in the air. I snuggled close to my mom's arms as she ordered our drinks. The waitress brought our thick milkshakes out on a tray and placed them in front of us on a paper dolly. The jukebox in the back played songs that we all knew the words to, and we sang along until our food arrived, hot and enticing on the table. Outside, I shivered in the cold air, but in the dinner, I was cozy, munching on crispy French fries and enjoying a hot, juicy cheeseburger. So, can you tell me what has been here? It's just it's just a matter of milkshake, fries, and a cheeseburger. But here you can see how the writer has created the entire picture, where you can not only see, but at the same time you can walk, you can smell of the fries, you can feel the writer sitting close to his mom, the waitress coming with milkshakes, right? The chill outside, and having a hot dinner, right, of crispy French fries and juicy hot cheeseburger, right? This is the environment he has created, although it's just about the dinner, and that can be summed up within a two or three sentences at the same time. So watch how the writer has created an impression. Did you get my point? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next element of descriptive writing is sensory detail. It is the second element, right? Sensory details mean, right? Sensory details mean when the writer brings in, right, a description of, right, are about sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste, right? When these things are sketched on a piece of paper, we call it the sensory details, right? This is uh, a piece of paragraph you can read, right? And here you will only find two: watch.
Sir, excuse
Yes,
me, sir.
yes,
Sir,
miss.
can you please stop these guys जो comment में लगे हुए हैं फजूल?
Are there? Uh, uh, Guys, please control. It is not something that suits and that match your status, please. Right? And I'll talk very direct things, a few things. Let me finish with the recording of the lecture, please. Right? If you can have a look at, as I was telling you, watched and listen, right? Only two things are there. Then you may find the third thing: feet get wet, feel, right? See, hear, and feel, right? Three things are there, right? uh, Now watch here how it is enriched with all these five senses. Can you read the same three lines that has been converted approximately into five lines? My sister and I walked along the broad walk on afternoon on our vacation. The hot boards, right, warmed our bare feet, warming of the feet, sense of feel, watch, sense of sight, foam covered waves, topple over each other, right? Another, slide back into the sea. The crashing water competed sounds here, right? The exuberant yells here again, right? We bought a perfectly oval fluff of pink cotton candy, fluff of pink cotton candy that not only you can see, but at the same time you can feel the taste dissolved sweetly in our mouths. Afterwards, we walked along the edges of the water, letting the warm, salty air, letting the warm, salty air blow our hair, right? Blow our hair. Watch here. Personification. Away from our necks as cool water, lapped over our toes, lapped over our toes, right? So this is how the writer inculcates or adds the feelings, right? Sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Is it clear? Right? That was the second element. Now we have got the third element, that is vivid and uh, right language. There are two types of languages that we used for descriptive writing. The first type of language, it contains the use of adjectives, adverbs, similes, metaphors, personifications, right? The first type of language is figurative language that we use for descriptive writing. It is the third element, right? For example, pale turkey slices, adjectives, limply, adverb, right? Adjectives and adverbs, right? And then we have got the fourth element, which is a specialized kind of words, right? Specialized kind of words for our descriptive writing. So you can see here both the examples, right? This is simple expression. The food was unappetizing. And this is how you can watch here with the help of some specialized words, special kind of words like adjectives, like similes, metaphors, and a special vocabulary, how the writer has made this simple impression into an impression where you can see, right, the slices uh, floating in the fat, right? What kind of fat? Murky, cool, right? Limply, and which color? Pale turkey, right? Then another, the sprinkler was refreshing. The cool water from the sprinkler sprayed our hot faces, right? And then the third expression, the traffic was heavy, right? Watch how adjectives, adverbs, and special kind of words have been added, right? Our old car puffed as Main Street became clogged with a line of clamoring motorists, right? Uh, so the third element for a descriptive writing is, right, number one, figurative language, where we use adjectives, adverbs, similes, metaphors, and personification. And the fourth element is precise language, means special words are used for descriptive writing. And the last element, right? The last element is the careful organization, right? Careful organization. Well, there are three things that we have to take care in case of careful organization. Well, first, it is the hierarchy of or hierarchy of events, the way they happen, first of all, right? Keep the arrangement of the happenings of the events as they are. Number one, there is always, right, a time thing. There is always a time thing, right, in descriptive writing, like afternoon, And the upper example, you can see the top example, right, every Friday night, right? So there is always a time in descriptive writing. And the third thing is, right, uh, in descriptive writing, that is the words that describes uh, the dimension, the locations. For example, I snuggled close to my mom's arm, right, left, right, close, apart, far, near, above, below, right, east, west, north, south, right? These are the things that definitely you have to find in descriptive writing. Ladies and gentlemen, in our today's session, we tried we tried to explore what is an essay, and we started with an essay. Then we moved on to the difference between an essay and a paragraph, then phases of an essay, then parts of an essay, then forms of an essay, then types of an essay, and among them we discussed the first type of an essay, that is descriptive writing. And as I told you, descriptive writing, we describe persons, places, things, events, etc. Our ideas, right? How does we do it all? We describe it with the help of five senses. And how many elements are there in descriptive writing? Well, there are five elements in descriptive writing. How, which? Dominant impression, sensory details, figurative language, precise language, and careful organization. These are the five elements of descriptive writings, right? CRs and GRs